Tonight at 11, child sex abuse, chainsaws, and murder. The grisly new allegations and gruesome details in the killing of a 14-year-old girl and the pop star in jail for her murder. Prosecutors revealing those chilling allegations in a new court filing today. Eyewitness News reporter Liz Nagy following the story tonight. Liz.
Mark, the details alleged by prosecutors are frankly disgusting. In this preliminary 8-page brief signed by LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman, prosecutors paint a picture of a rising pop star who they say lured a young girl and then eliminated her when she threatened to expose their relationship and derail his fame.
Featured covered in blood and dragging a body in one of his many music videos, prosecutors described the pop singer David carrying out a real-life scene grossly similar to this production. In court for the second time today, attorneys for the singer, whose real name is David Burke, fought to seal the brief that prosecutors believe lays out a specific timeline and evidence of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez murder. Prosecutors allege Rivas Hernandez and Burke first met when she was just 11 years old, and they have explicit sexual photos of the two.
First of all, let me stop it there. I broke this case 7 to 8 months ago. I told y'all she actually wasn't 11. She was 10. She was 10. Now, every time we release information over here, they go ahead and clean it up and update the facts in the case. We called it months ago. She was 10. But David's team struck me because I posted him with her Hello Kitty keychain and all of that. But let's continue.
The brief also claims Burke stabbed Celeste several times and watched her bleed to death. In the days after prosecutors claimed David had slaughtered Rivas Hernandez, he purchased tools to dismember her body. Prosecutors say Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws, a body bag, and blue inflatable swimming pool to David's home, all ordered under a fake name. Prosecutors say David cut off 2 of her fingers because one of them had a tattoo of his name on it. Prosecutors also allege they have text messages that discuss sex between the two, her pregnancy, and an abortion. And text messages where...
So y'all were right. Y'all were right. Y'all called it over here. She was pregnant. American born, I have to give you your credit. You were one of the first people I saw in the chat months ago saying that you believe she was pregnant.
Where Celeste threatens to expose Burke and destroy his career. In July, months after prosecutors say he'd stabbed her to death, Burke placed her body in the inflatable pool he'd ordered to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor and used a chainsaw to cut off her limbs. Former prosecutor turned criminal defense attorney R.J. Dreiling says David's defense team will seize on one detail.
They note in their brief that David was sending text messages to Celeste after her death. They're going to use that to prove that, look, there's no way he knew that she was dead or responsible for it. He's still trying to communicate with her after her death.
As he toured on stage, Celeste's body, prosecutors say, rotted in pieces in the front of David's Tesla until investigators discovered the remains in September, 5 months after they say David Burke had murdered her.
The medical examiner's report released just last week had noted those pieces of blue plastic in Rivas Hernandez's remains. Prosecutors now say those pieces of blue plastic were pieces of the inflatable pool that they say David had placed her body in. Burke has pleaded not guilty. He will stay locked up in jail until his next court date in May. We're live downtown tonight. Liz Nagy, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Liz, thank you.
All right. So what we're going to do in living color, give me 1 second. Let's go ahead and take this one off. We're going to go ahead and read the court case. When I tell you this is one sick puppy, this is indeed one sick puppy. And what you're seeing on the screen is the actual court documents. The Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Los Angeles. It's the people of the state of California versus David Anthony Burke. Oh, his birthday is March 28th? What is that, a Pisces? This boy was sick. And before I even get into the court documents, let me say this. Let me say this. Mom, dad, you knew your kid was sick. You knew your kid had a problem. You knew that there were issues. You knew there was something. Y'all, this is sensitive, right? This is a very sensitive court case. So I just want you to I want to put out a disclaimer that there's very graphic details in these court documents as the news station kind of reviewed some of those items with you and they pulled out the key items, but his parents knew that he was an issue. They knew he was a problem and they pulled him out of school to sweep the problem under the rug. His brother knew that he was a problem because recently his brother made a public statement that all pedophiles should receive the death penalty. Mm. Oh, y'all are saying he's an Aries. So I don't know his childhood story, but I do know at some point his parents pulled him out of school. He's going to talk about it. As a matter of fact, let me do this. Watch this. This is what we're about to do. Let's go to him talking about his mother disrupting the phase of his life where he was supposed to be experiencing love. And I put typically when I cover David and anything regarding David and the brutal homicide of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, I include this at the end of my videos just as a reminder. And I don't think you all have caught on because I want to drill it in your head. His parents knew. They knew, they knew, they knew. Give me 1 second. Here we go. I'm going to pull it up and he's going to tell you the story of his mother pulling him out of school. Sometimes when women are too dominant in the household, it could cause your sons to resent the opposite sex. Right? That's a real thing in psychology. And I believe that he fixated on hurting women because he couldn't hurt his mother. You know, you can't hurt mom. You can't really do anything to mom. So what we're seeing is a lot of suppressed rage, sadistic behavioral patterns that he's living out. And he started living out at a very early age. Let's take a look at this. Give me 1 second. We want to share this tab. This is actually my video that I did 7 months ago. Give me 1 second. I want you to listen to him talk about his life and the fantasies and the lyrics of his song. Senior in high school. Give me one. Hanging around a fifth grader. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? That's what I was talking about in this video. Give me 1 second. This is a video that like I said, a segment that I created over 7 months ago. And I knew she was in a fifth grade. Okay. David's relationship with Celeste was not a secret. The kids at school were talking. Fifth graders are 10 years old in most cases. She was in the fifth grade. He was a senior in high school when he met her. Chew on that. It's right about prom time right now in many states and many cities, right? Your kids are gearing up, your nephews, your cousins, whatever, brothers are gearing up to graduate. Imagine your son being attracted to a fifth grader and he's a senior in high school. You get my drift? Now, you know, when you go to the football games and you go to the basketball games and you're at the high school, you know how these kids are built these days. I don't care if it was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year age difference. You know what a high school senior is physically like compared to a fifth grade girl. He's already developed as it relates to his anatomy. He had no business in those chat rooms, in those game rooms, hunting for children. Mom, you knew he was sick and you hid him in the house, hoping that the problem would go away as opposed to getting him professional help. You hid him behind the guise of religion. You used the Bible. You can't pray away sickness. You have to address it head on with a very, very aggressive clinical intervention. You literally, that's why they are trained professionals. You have to hold up a mirror to them, and you can't do it as the mother or the father. You got to drop them off with a therapist that specializes in personality disorders, deep, dark, sadistic fantasies. You need somebody to sit in that chair across from him and say, David, I know exactly who you are. And the mom didn't do that. She pulled him out of school. You knew what he was singing about. You knew what he was frustrated about. Because watch this. He started a YouTube channel, Mom, as a way of self-expression. And he became frustrated. Watch this. Because his YouTube channel continued to become demonetized over and over and over again. He went to his mom out of frustration, and she said, since YouTube has continued to demonetize you, why don't you make your own music? The father was in the house. And here's why I say we have to be careful. See, I know today we talked about Megan Thee Stallion and how women present, but y'all, this is spiritual, whether you believe or not. And I didn't say religious, but I said spiritual. Let me tell you why. I was talking earlier about how women, we have to present as women in order to stay, quote unquote, behind the veil. And this may be over some of your heads. In order for a woman to be truly protected, you have to stay behind the veil. Listen, you'll figure it out later. The point is, we come pre-wired biologically to handle some things versus others, period. And when women are out of order, it messes up the entire system. Hence my conversation early. We were just talking about wardrobe. My thing was, if you want to be a wife, you have to conduct yourself as a wife. Hold on. Can we say, no, I got this. I got this. Let me talk. The mother was the dominant figure in the house. Listen to me. Y'all don't want to listen to me. I'm trying to help you out with these boys. There is a man in the home and you emasculate him in front of your sons. Deep down inside, your sons wish he would be a man and let his nuts hang and say something back to you. And when daddy let mama ramrod the entire house, right, wrong, or indifferent, just because she's a woman, those boys grow up to resent women. Because mama did too much. She yanked bruh's nuts. I ain't gonna never let no woman talk to me crazy, expose me, put me on blast, take my career. So the mother was the dominant figure. You hear him talking about it. And there were two parents in the house. The mother pulled him from the school. He said the mother told him to go make your music. The mother was the solutioner in the house. And as a result, he started to become resentful of women. So where am I going with this? Sometimes you got to step aside and allow those men to handle those boys. I get it. Yes, that's your baby. But your baby is going to grow up to become a monster if you don't move your ass out the way and shut up and let this man handle his ass. That's it. Yes. Thank you. The dad allowed the mom to handle all of the discipline. When a man starts checking out in your house and you have male figures in there, go ahead and divorce him. Because you're not going to set me up to be a fucking target of hate, suppressed rage. And I don't mean it, but I mean it. You better start saying something if these men are pulling back and disconnecting and not getting engaged. What good is a diamond nobody can see? What good is a man in a house if you can run all over him and he refuses to step in or step up? And if he tries, don't squash him. Thank you, Alpha MC. Thank you for being honest. You said, I agree. As a mother of two sons, you better back up and let him do his thing. And I can't help but to wonder if mom had allowed dad to back up. See, the daddy still ain't said nothing. Even after the fact, you know your son did this. The mama doing all the talking. Girl, shush. Be quiet. You knew you had a sicko. And listen, the brother came out. The brother knew. You know why the brother came out and said pedophile should get the death penalty? Because now he gets to speak on what mama allowed in the house. He knew it was wrong. Yeah, that was your favorite. Darling, dear David. That was your favorite. And look at your favorite. Got away with everything. He act bad in school. You pull him out to hide the problem. You gave him a closet to play in. She did. A closet to play in, to live out his sick fantasies instead of you telling the dad, get in, make his fucking ass come out that closet. Okay, you said, how is the brother guilty? He's a kid. How's the brother guilty too? He's a kid or was a kid. David, I believe, is the oldest child. When you come up under heavy manipulative religious influence, hold on, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. We got to talk about just because people are, let me just say this, just because they're Black don't mean they're vocal in the way that some of us would be. In some of these heavily emphatic religious circles, you can be ousted, kicked out, alienated, locked up in closets. Y'all, these people crazy. So sometimes a sibling, yeah, it was in a sister's closet. You're absolutely correct. So sometimes the siblings are not in a position to push back in the household. Some people beat them, whoop them, spank them, put them in cages, crates, closets, refuse to give them food under the watchful eye of the Bible. The same way that the Bible was indoctrinated to subdue slaves, to obey their masters. So after David, it is believed, committed the crime, the horrendous crime of what he did to Celeste, this boy had the nerve to take to the internet to quote the Bible and give a Bible study lesson on one of the scriptures. Come on now. The mother was the dominant in the house. She knew she was dominant. A man can't parent if you squash him. So I get what y'all are saying. We'll talk about them both. Listen, if you're challenging him in front of the children all the time, he gonna tap out. Real men ain't finna argue with you. Now, these sassy ones may. These new age ones that want birthday parties, yeah, candy, Valentine's Day gifts too, where y'all got to buy them gifts and show up as if they're the prize. The ones that want to be treated like women, yeah, they're going to argue with you back and forth. They're going to go toe to toe. But a real man that's grounded in his masculinity, he going to back up off of you. He's going to go into a shell. He's going to disconnect even at the sacrifice of his own kids. It's just not in his nature to go back and forth, or he's going to leave. Am I blaming the mom? I'm saying she's the first one who identified there was a problem. She made the executive decision to pull him from school and hide him in the house as opposed to getting him clinical intervention. So because she was the primary decision maker in the home, because she had the most meaningful relationship with David, yes, she did fail him. just like Celeste's mother failed her. Why are you saying Celeste's mother? Because she knew. You let her go over there. You accepted, allegedly, money in exchange for your daughter. You knew. That's why you hide your face. It's heavy now. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. This could have been avoided. You knew. Women have a heavy influence in the house, and hell, even if it wasn't your idea, Celeste's mama, as a woman, even if daddy says she could date him, if you raise enough hell, I bet she can't go no more. I bet she can't go no more. Let you get the hooping and hollering. Hell no. Why the hell would you do? Now that's when you push back against a man. You see what I'm saying? I bet the dad would have got his ass in that car and drove all around Los Angeles until he found her. If you would have put up enough fuss and raised enough hell and threatened divorce and this and this. And see, now that's when you rise up. That's when you start to talk that shit. If you're going to talk it. And then you go back to your peaceful state of being a doting wife when the problem is solved. You get what I'm saying, y'all? You said my daughter thought she was going to cut school. I took the phone, the TV, the door, and went to juvenile and filed unruly charges. Listen, I'd rather call the fucking police on you than to go to your funeral. It is what it is. Y'all are scared of these kids because you want to be cool. What you mean we want to be cool? The world we live in is full of being liked. Did anybody like my post? Did anybody like my story? Did anybody like, subscribe, and click? And don't nobody give a damn if these kids like you or not. Put their asses in their place so you don't have to put them in a coffin or a casket. Kelsey, he said, Queen, tell us how you really feel. No, this is the what he did to her is, listen, the adults, all parties involved are responsible from both sides. Both sides. I was going to show y'all. Here we go. Here we go. Now listen to this boy as he talks about his mom. Hold on. What is this? Let me go right here. One bit, which is why he takes to the songs. And he knows he's emotionally he has an emotional deficit, which is why he takes to the songs to carry out the dark side of him, the evil that lurks within. And then he has right here. Are you still under the car? Stay with me. I know it's my fault. How could I just sit there wondering why I'm not sober and why she's not home? Oh God, I'm here. Can't you take me instead? She didn't deserve to go. Right in front of our eyes, hidden in plain sight. Hidden in plain sight. Are you still under the car in the trunk? Oh, I broke this thing down before there was any court documentation, before they figured out what the hell happened. He cut her up and put her in that car. And he told everybody. But because we coddle boys and raise girls, everybody, it's just entertainment. That's what they do, girl. You know, kids these days. No, I don't know kids these days. I wouldn't have went to his concert as his mama. You doing what? You chopping up? Nah, hell no. I'm not going to that. Well, let me go on. Hold on. Let me get to the end. Here it is. I got it. I found it. Look, the Hello Kitty when she was 10 really die is to conceal evidence, which aligns with the controlled nature of psychopathic violence. If you haven't checked out this video, let me go ahead and share it with you. Some of you are new to my channel. I've been breaking these things down for quite some time. Listen, that's her stuff. You see the Hello Kitty? He connected her when she was 10. They're saying 11. I told you it was 10. Then they said 13. I said, you a lie. He started with her when she was 12. Sexually. And then the reporter slipped up on ABC News and said she had just turned 12 when he started lewd sexual acts with her. Listen, I'm not going to keep no details away from you. That's the beauty of being an independent journalist. I'm going to give you the facts. Let's continue. That Hello Kitty thing, that's Celeste. Hold on. Let me see if I got anything before he comes on at the end. Okay. Now, psychopathy and sociopathy are not formal clinical diagnoses. They're not. Sometimes the terms are often used interchangeably to describe the traits of antisocial personality disorder. If you think about who David catered to, he catered to children, not people, not his peer group. His message, his target audience are children. I don't believe he had the social wherewithal to engage normally with his peer group or other adults. And if you think about the living situation of his manager living with him, who does that? How come he's not with his parents or living on his own at such a young age? Y'all, this is way deeper than they knew. They knew. And I have a stream. One of his producers on a stream. I don't think he realized it was live. And he said, "Hey, you still dating that minor?" They all knew. All of the men knew. The record label knew. Oh, yeah. See, here's the thing. I'm glad that the LAPD forced the hand of the district attorney's office, but we may not get all of the suspects that I think this is way bigger than David. I think they started going through. Remember, they had that house wiretap. They had those phones wiretap. I think there's more of you men that are listening, hoping, praying that you don't come up in those text messages and those phone calls. I think there's more of them. Maybe not to the extent of murder and chainsaws and kiddie pools. Oh, yeah. You had an appetite. You turned the other cheek. You knew what it was. You were complicit. You aided and abetted him. You watched him because you knew he was out of control. He needed supervision. Oh, he was building up. Look, if you think of it, rude girl building up almost to the point of no return. He just couldn't stop talking about what he was going to do. But the love of money, for the love of money, what is it called? Is the root of all evil. Hold on. Let me get a different clip. Give me 1 second. Let me get a different clip. I got something for you. Well, maybe I can. Hold on. Let me go back. There's a couple of things in here that we may be able to highlight. Hold on. He said it. He told us exactly what he had planned to do and how he had planned on doing it in the different interviews and the lyrics of the songs. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let's see what this is. He says this to, listen, I've been giving y'all the real. He sends this to Celeste. This is why she was going to out him. At some point in 2024, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, about 10 months before he took her life, I think she lost respect for him. I think she started to realize, I got to get out of this. He sends her this text message. He says, imagine we were two cannibals in the late 80s who randomly met and then fell in love and tried to be better and start a life together. And then you died and I ate you, bones and all. Now he sends this to her. Let me play it. I dreamed that I killed you and I ate you. Hold on. I went down to his damn Twitter before he got too comfortable. Let me start here. And I took all of this off his Twitter because he had got so comfortable. Y'all have gotten to the point y'all don't hold kids and women and men responsible for anything anymore. They can just put up whatever they want to put up under the guise of entertainment, under the guise of freedom, under the guise of I can do all I can be. So he had become so comfortable on Twitter, he didn't think to take it down. And I was right there. Boom, 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 boom. Got it all before he could take it down. Now, it took me a couple of days. And this is what we came up with. All of this. He told her he was going to off her. Right here, you see it? He says, and I ate you. Bones and all. But before he said that, let's talk about romantic homicide. He wrote the song. Over 1 million streams, downloads. Here we go. Based on the text that David sent to Celeste that stated that car was dented up. And typically vehicles like that look like that, are rarely seen in that neighborhood. Based on the text that David sent to Celeste, stated, I was just thinking, or I dreamed that I killed you and I ate you. Okay. And she said, okay, go ahead. Oh my God, you're sick. What the hell? He sent that. We went over. Oh, those are other text messages I had for previous videos, right? So there was a lot of sick stuff he was sending to her for that text. Just so I dreamed that I killed you. He sent to her at 2:51 a.m., right? That's why they say take them damn phones. Well, they're a teenager, and as long as they get into bed on time, take Queen Sheba, that's old fashioned. Take the phones, make them leave them downstairs in a general area because he's texting this child at 2:51. Now, back in 2024, she was 12, I believe. Right? If we do the proper math, was she not 12 in 2024? 12 years old. What year? I can look it up. Give me 1 second. I'm about to look it up. Hold on. I just need to know the year she was born. I know her birthday. Hold on. She was born 2010. Give me 1 second. So if we take 2024, how old was she? About 13? She was 13. So by this time, he had had about a year of sexual activity with her. Right? And now he's building up to do. So why is this important? Okay, I got you. I've groomed you for a year. I believe he met her in Roblox chat room or however the kids do it at age 10 or right before she turned 11. But let's just say we go with the reporting of the big news outlets. They're saying 11. But at first y'all said 13, 14, 15. And I had to get on them about that. I had to ask TMZ, quit calling her a woman. Start watching the innuendos that they try to impress upon you. That's not a woman. That's a child. TMZ, you was real big on calling this little girl a woman earlier on in your reporting. And I had to say something. They could have met in Discord. I don't know. I heard while it was gaming. I went on Twitter. I was under the impression they were playing games. Can you play games in Discord? I think it was Roblox. But the point is, TMZ, I caught you slipping. You were trying to make us feel like, to me, see, when you start hearing words like woman, first of all, I don't know what type of stuff y'all are into, these men, but pay attention. Calling her a woman. She's not a freaking woman at 14 and 15. See, that's when my grandma said your drawers is showing. My grandma used to say, see, now your drawers are showing. And if you're a woman, your slip is showing. But if we go with the major news outlets, they're saying 11. So from 11 to 12, he grooms her. Watch this. 1 year to groom her, to be able to take advantage of her sexually. 11 to 12. Watch the time frame. Watch it. He can't fake the funk past the year. So then he pounces on her sexually at age 12. And then from 12 to 13, he starts to groom her to darkness. What you mean? Imagine if we were two cannibals in the late 80s who randomly met and then we fell in love. And then we're trying to be better as we're fighting it and fighting it and fighting it. And then we started life together. And then you died and I ate your bones. I ate you in your bones. So now he's introducing another layer of the game because the game has been activated, even though they met playing games. Are y'all following me? The game has been activated, sweetheart. You are now in the game. We're going to level 2 now. I'm hunting you and you don't even know it. So now we go from 11 to 12. I'm grooming you. 12 to 13, 12 to 13. I'm doing lewd and explicit acts with the child. And then now 13 to 14, I'm warming you up to the idea of losing your life. A year. And then she's gone. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He could barely stand it. When they're this sick, it almost hurts them to delay. And if I were the DA, I would go back and see if there's any missing persons that's ever been around him that have, maybe the parents have called them runaways, or even in Texas, because he has a home here in Texas. I would go back and track his steps to see if there are others. I'm not just talking about the victims that are alive, but I would go back and track and see what type of aftermath has he left or could have left. That's what I was thinking, Antonia. But I didn't want to say it. Ain't no telling. Now let's continue. And I ate you. And she said, oh my God, you're sick. What the hell? He sent that. We went over that text. Because so far he's done everything he said he's going to do in his lyrics and his text messages. Let me see if I can get here. And I can get to the final part. Okay, this is what we're about to do. Give me 1 second. Now we're going to go to a different one. Give me 1 second. And we're going to pull up him talking about being yanked out of school. I included in most of my videos. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, I think I got it. Hit pause. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Yeah, I got it. Here we go. Just listen.
Yeah. Like, has love been a big part of your life?
It has.
Cage Incinerator, and
we found a chainsaw, brand new. It was with the Incinerator.
Get through this part.
And there's no purpose for a chainsaw to be at this rental house.
Yeah.
Like, has love been a big part of your life?
Yes.
It hasn't always been, because I was homeschooled for the majority of like when love mattered. And then everything was just, parental love and familial love, but not anything romantic. So it wasn't a big part of my early years. And
Did you see that? Did you hear that? Now that got me thinking, is the mama sick? Because why do you need to be the primary pipeline for love in his life? That when he thinks of love, your love outweighed anything that he should have experienced as just a regular boy. There is a video. Miss what was it? Miss Mexico. A wife was just murdered by her mother-in-law in Mexico or somewhere. Her mother-in-law shot her 7 times. She was a new mother, still breastfeeding. And the husband was in the house. The husband comes in casually. It's on Instagram and said, she was like family to me. And the mom says, I didn't like her. She made me mad. You belong to me. Some of y'all got these inappropriate emotional relationships with your son. Thank you. Thank you, Mexico City. Thank you so much. The mother said, you belong to me. Now, he knew his mama had a very unhealthy relationship with him. He had no business marrying that beautiful girl and putting her in the house with the mama. You knew your mama hated anybody that she felt was in competition with her. So you hear David, it reminds me of what David just said. The love I got was parental. And we know the mama was the domineering source. So the mama may be sick too. The mama may want to be the apple of his eye. And I'm not talking about sexually. Sometimes moms, some of you, not all of you, have a very unhealthy attachment to your boys. And you don't want to let him go because he's mama's baby.
Your life?
it hasn't always been, because I was homeschooled for the majority of like when love mattered. And then yeah, everything was just, parental love and familial love, but not anything romantic. So it wasn't a big part of my early years. And then once, I started doing music and got
So he said, not anything romantic. Hence, the outcome is the romantic homicide. Because in one, watch this. This is when you collide against yourself. In one instance, I didn't get to experience that love. It was yanked away from me, right? So I fantasize about romance outside of my mom, but the homicide part means to kill something off. The need to attach to who? Women, romantic homicide. He fantasized about what it would be like, but at the same time, he never wanted to be that attached again. Are y'all getting it? I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. Too much of anything isn't good. You eat too much sugar, it'll rot your teeth. Where you going with this? Exactly what I just said. A loving, overbearing mama will rot a boy out from the inside out. He was rotted out.
got into the real world, and that's when it kind of came into play. And I was writing songs preemptively. I was like writing all these heartbreak and breakup songs before I even entered my first relationship. And then once that actually happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of spoke the heartbreak into existence, kind of. So yeah, my relationship with love as an emotion is really complicated because I started to expect certain things before they would happen, almost like I was wishing for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And mom set him up to do it, not to hurt Celeste. The mom knew what was in his head. She told him to start making his own music when he was getting demonetized on YouTube for breaking the rules. That's it. That's all. Thank you, Yvette. She said, you definitely know what you're talking about because listen, even that, if you just understand the dynamics of human relationships, if you understand the dynamics of healthy boundaries, unhealthy boundaries, right? You can be a girl mom and still spit what I'm spitting. Boundaries are boundaries are boundaries. And I don't care if a kid does live in your house. You know how I listen, you know, most serial killers, if you go back and do the research, Ted Bundy, all of them, they were mad at their moms. They said typically a woman had overstepped her boundaries with him in some way, not sexually. I can't remember one of them that I had read. He said his mom would come in his room, burst in his room while he was changing. He would be naked. And he didn't like the fact that she didn't give him, I'm not going to say privacy, but you get what I'm saying. So even when kids live in your house, at a particular point, start knocking on the door before you just bust open. They become resentful of shit. They can't talk back. They can't. And listen, this white, black, yellow, brown, honey. And we get it. We know it's your house. But when you show them a little bit of decency and respect, you raise them up to be decent and respectful to other human beings. But when you yank their freedom and their freedom of choice and their body and their mind doesn't belong to them, they grow up to be predators like this. And they grow up to devour, just like they feel they were devoured. And you say, I was a good parent. I was a good dad. I was a good mother. But if you go back and listen to me and do your own research, what was Ted Bundy's problem? What was Jeffrey's problem? What was Wayne Gacy did it? What was their problem? They was mad at the world, typically their mothers or female figures in their life. Well, how do we do it? They just, you got to be careful being the only parent. You know what I'm saying? And I know women, sometimes you're left with that choice. But when you start to identify a little bit of pushback, go ahead and get you some backup. Get you some backup. You said, child, my mom did a phone patrol before bed because I would sneak a phone in. I did too. I had that clear phone where it lit up, where you can see through it. And I used to unplug it at night, wait for everybody to go to sleep. I bought me a phone. Me too. But the mom failed him because she didn't get him help. Hey, Bad Ash. Bad Ash said, hello from Houston. We appreciate you. Welcome, Houston. I like it. So the mom knew that boy was sick and she didn't put him in therapy. Y'all, they had good jobs too. The mom and the dad, very good jobs. Let me find his daddy. Watch this. I ain't trying to be funny. Now, you know this man didn't have no say-so in the house. Here we go. Here we go. Let me find his father. Child. Here we go. Y'all see him? Right here. Hetty Murphy. To the right. Hetty Murphy. Right here. Hold on. This is the father. Let me go down. Hetty Murphy. That's what I call him. That's the mom. Hold on. I'm throwing a little bit of humor. We need it. We need it. Hold on. That's the mom. This is the mom that you see on the phone, conducting all of the calls, running all of the business. The dad gets to sit back and relax. And I get it. It's a woman's nature. We want to protect our kids, our cubs. But sometimes you got to know when to hand over the reins to the man when these boys start acting up. You get what I'm saying? Men, parents, completely different. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit of scariness. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit of cursing. But if you would have let Hetty Murphy step in and do his job, listen. That's all I'm saying. This is the family. And now I can't help but to wonder. And I wonder if any of you have questions like I do. If David had a fixation on, you said the dad's eyes are hollow too. Let me raise it up a little bit. Give me 1 second. There he is. I can't help but to wonder, and this is just me thinking out loud. Bear with me. That's the mama. If David had a fixation on young girls, this has always struck my mind. Was his sister safe? Y'all get what I'm saying? That's the dad. Hairline pulled all the way back to his neck. Hairline snatched. His dad is an attorney. His parents are from Africa, I do believe. You said, I'm telling you, when they had them funny shaped heads, honey, something is not right. My son dad wore a baseball cap all the time when I met him. He's ludicrous. Listen. Yeah, the dad was kind of passive in the house. But here's what I would like to get back to. This court case is going to be something serious because it starts out, the complaint, this is a felony complaint, okay? Count 1. On or about April 23rd, 2025, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of murder in the violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony was committed by David Anthony Burke, who did unlawfully, with malice, aforethought, murder Celeste Rivas, a human being. Okay, so they go over what the penal code sections are. We're going to skip that and go down. It is further alleged that the murder of Celeste Rivas was intentional and was carried out by the defendant, David Anthony Burke, for financial gain within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2A1. It is further alleged that pursuant to the Penal Code Section, Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. Now, we're going to go down. That's count 1. We're going to go to count 2. On or about September 7, 2023 and September 7, 2024. A year. He's very specific. Did not tell you, watch this. Did not tell you he operates within year, 12-month cycles. On or about between September 7, 2023, September 7, 2024, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of continuous sexual abuse in violation of Penal Code Section 288.5A, a felony was committed by David Anthony Burke, who unlawfully engaged in 3 or more acts of substantial sexual conduct as defined in Penal Code Section 1203. I'm going to start skipping those, okay? And 3 or more lewd and lascivious acts as defined. So not only was it sexual misconduct, he took it to a whole different level. How would they know that? You ready? Queen Sheba, how would they know that? They got that phone. He's so sick, he recorded himself. Killers need trinkets. Killers, predators like trinkets. That's what they call them. Things that they can go back and look at, feel, smell. I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. So they need something to remind them of the kill, of the attack, of the assault. So I'm sure there is detailed documentation. On his phone. Thank you, Toot Latrice. She said, help send Queen to the David trial in Los Angeles. And we're going to cover it live from the courthouse. Thank you. We'll leave that up there. Substantial, continuous, lewd. Watch this. With a child under the age of 14 years old. While the defendant resided with and had reoccurring access to the child. That's a victim. He moved her in to abuse her, to assault her. And whatever they saw on the phone was not a doting and loving relationship. You heard Celeste on the live when he said, I media trained you. She said, no, you didn't. He said, that's controversial. She said, is it controversial to grape a child? She knew exactly what he was doing to her. She didn't say like, love, be in a relationship. She called a thing a thing. And they go on to say, so they said under the age of 14. I'm telling you, she was really young. But I believe it's so disturbing that the media have probably all gotten together. There's a meeting before the meeting and a meeting after the meeting, and probably said, can we all just agree we can say 13? Because otherwise it's going to be really hard to cover this. Count 2, they go on to say, notice, conviction of this offense will require you to register pursuant to Penal Code Section 290. Willful failure to register is a crime. So they want him to be registered as a sex offender. Notice, conviction of this offense will require the court to order you to submit a blood test for evidence of antibodies to the probable causative agent of acquired immune. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. They're asking for him to do a blood test to the probable causative agent of acquired immune deficiency syndrome. They didn't say HIV, they said AIDS. Is this standard? Or the evidence of antibodies? Notice, being charged with this criminal offense can result in mandatory pre-conviction. Oh, Lord have mercy. Being charged with this criminal offense can result in mandatory pre-conviction HIV/AIDS testing and disclosure of the results to a victim and the chief medical examiner of the jail or prison facility where you incarcerated pursuant to Penal Code Section 1524 and Health and Safety Code Section following a probable cause hearing resulting in a court order. Let me ask you something. Are they thinking? Let me ask, do we have any district attorneys? Do we have anybody? Is this standard? Or do they suspect that he may have infected her with HIV or AIDS? Or is it could be standard. This is my first time seeing something like this. Could it be that they're suspecting something or they saw something? Thank you, Precious Gems, for the $5 super chat. You said just showing support. Thank you. Thanks for Easter restaurant recommendation. Oh, you were so welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me see if I got any responses about HIV/AIDS. Look, they just got to speak up. Okay, I got you. They test them for it, and I got you. She said it's standard. They test for it in these type of cases. Thank you. All right. That's what I needed. Whew. Let's continue. Notice, upon a felony conviction for the above offense, prison custody time is to be served in state prison based upon the above felony offense being a serious felony defined in Penal Code Section 1192. They want to put him in state. State is worse than federal. Federal is a little bit better sometimes. Federal prisons. That's why the men like to be moved. They want to put him in a state prison. Child, let's go on to the next one. Count 3. On or about May 5th, 2025, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of unlawful mutilation of human remains in violation of Health and Safety Code Section 7D52. Why do you say that? Why do they say that? Even funeral homes have to receive permission to embalm and cremate bodies. Every time they do it, they have to have a certificate, I do believe, right? For cremation. So the reason why this is considered unlawful it's in violation of health and safety code. It's a felony. And they're saying that it was committed by David Anthony Burke, who did willfully and unlawfully mutilate remains known to be human, specifically the remains of Celeste. Upon felony conviction for the above offense, prison custody time is to be served in state prison pursuant to Penal Code Section 1170. I wonder if they want him to serve this concurrent or consecutively. DG, what are your thoughts? Let's go to the next one. All right. I may have started with the wrong. Okay, we got count 3. Let's go to count. All right. I think I got the short one first. All right. So they sign off and basically, all right. Conviction of this offense will require the defendant to provide DNA samples. Thank you. We want to know if there's other victims. And print impressions pursuant. And when we talk about print, are we talking dental print or just fingerprints? Willful refusal to provide the samples and impressions is a crime. The people of the state of California intend to present evidence and seek jury findings regarding all applicable circumstances and aggravation pursuant to the Penal Code section. A suspected child abuse report may have been generated within the meaning of the Penal Code, blah, blah, blah. And that's what we have for this. All right. Now let's go back to the full report. This is a lot. I wouldn't be shocked if they go head on for the death penalty. I think they should. I think they should. Give me 1 second. What are your thoughts? Would the death penalty be appropriate in this case? Or would life in prison suffice? Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for the Cash App to support the trip to Los Angeles to cover this trial. Thank you. We appreciate it. Let me pull up something else for you. To be able to do that at such a young age, because he's 21, he has sensational appetite. What do y'all call it? For gore. Sensational. And sat with the body, knew exactly what to do. That's why I wonder, is there a chance that he's done this before and gotten away with it? And maybe not at this level, right? But he didn't seem new to this. Let's see if we got the other one. I know it's another court document. Give me 1 second. I think we got it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Y'all hang out with me for a minute. Let's get this clipped up. Okay, we got it. I think I got it. 9 pages. Yeah, I got it. Give me 1 second. I just got to share. All right. Here we go. We're about to breeze through it. So I'm just going to the Honorable Judge Charlene Olmedo of the above entitled court. Okay, background facts. We're going to go into it. The dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste. That means she died before her 15th birthday. Even though they found her on or around her 15th birthday, based on the evidence, what this document tells me, they don't believe she lived to see her 15th birthday. So she was gone. The dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas, victim, was discovered in the front trunk of defendant's Tesla Model X on September 8th, a day after her birthday, 2025. The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior from 1405 Bluebird Avenue, which was parked approximately 400 feet from the defendant's home. Now, this is the million-dollar question. Everybody's asking, why would he leave it? And I've racked my brain and I've gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And the only thing I can come up with is he wanted it to be found. in some sick and twisted manner. You cannot apply normal, rationalized thinking to sadistic psychopaths. They don't think the way you think. They don't talk the way you talk. Now, they can mimic you and clone you and say the things that they know they should be saying in order not to be found out. So why would he park it? Because he wanted it to be found. And then what? That's a good question. I keep going back and forth. What do I come up with? He thought he was smarter than the system. Find it. Find it. Yeah, I did it. In some way, it's bragging rights. It's a badge of honor. But it also tells me that the level of arrogance that he has, that his mother has instilled in her, because she homeschooled him. She was the one that taught him. She's a very smart woman. He's brilliant. Almost like a child prodigy. I think he thought he would be able to outsmart the authorities and charm them. Like the snake in the Garden of Eden. I think he thought, I'll just leave it right here in front of you. And you, along with everybody else, will start arguing. Of course he didn't do it. Why would he be so stupid as to leave it here for us to find? That's all I can come up with. I think it's that simple. I don't think. Now I'm thinking out loud. Let me say this out loud. He did this at age, I'm going to say about 20. He just turned 21 last month. Right? So he was 20 years old when he committed this crime. If you would have caught him at age 30, he probably would have did something different with the car. He hasn't matured enough to recognize that he can be caught. He's still even though he's smart, he's immature. You have to realize that there's a deficit there because his primary audience, his demographic that he targets are children. So he's typically around people that he's smarter than. Are you smarter, literally, than a fifth grader? Or do you follow me now? He had no interactions with the outside world. And that may have just gotten him caught. The fact that his mother pulled him out of school was probably the saving grace at the end of the day. Now, let's go back to the document. They said the car was parked approximately 400 feet, y'all, from his house. That is a level of arrogance. When I tell you this man is dangerous, surveillance video and other evidence confirmed that the defendant was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29, 2025, before he left Los Angeles on a concert tour. I don't think anybody else knew that body was in the car. Let me tell you. Let me just say this. Let me rephrase that. I redact. I don't think anyone else was willing to get in the car with the body. You have to think of the stench, the overwhelming stench. Because at this point, we're talking September. No, what are we talking? Hold on. At this point, we're talking September. Right? Unless you are a serial killer yourself, hanging out with him, that's the only way you'll be able to get in that car and take that odor. Only he. And I think after a while, he became used to it. I think the body became a trinket, an accessory, a reminder of his ego, his capabilities, and the levels that he could perform in the dark belly of the underground world. Are y'all following me? So I don't think anybody else was supposed to move that car. The dismembered body. No, let's go down. My bad. On September 8th, the manager of the tow yard where the Tesla had been impounded noted the strong smell of decay. Now, if they can smell it, imagine you as a friend. He said, hey, can you move my car? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. If the manager from the tow yard is in his office and can smell that, it ain't no way you, a regular person, any of his friends would be able to sit in that car and move that car around from him. This may have been a one-man show. So the manager noted the strong smell of decay and the presence of flies coming from the vehicle. This boy sat inside this car with flies in the ice machine. Y'all, that's sick. That boy sat inside that car with flies, maggots, bugs. Now, if it's that many flies in that car at the tow yard, you know damn well it was a lot of them in the neighborhood. So the tow yard guy, he's like, oh, hell no. This is something out of the Bible. So he called the Los Angeles Police Department. He's like, something's off. So the police arrives on the scene and they determine that the Tesla belonged to David. At the tow yard, LAPD detectives opened the front storage compartment and they saw a black cadaver bag covered in insects. I told you. What did I just say? And I did not read this document before today. This boy was riding around in his damn car with flies and bugs and maggots. He is sick. A black cadaver bag covered in insects. Inside the bag, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. A plastic garbage bag beneath the black cadaver bag contained the dismembered arms and legs. This boy is arms and legs. However, the victim's ring and pinky fingers on her left hand had been amputated and were not found in the Tesla. He ate them. Like he said in the text message, I'm a cannibal. I imagine you dead and I ate you. He ate them. Let's continue. So the left, the pinky finger and the ring finger. Why did he take the pinky finger? I wonder. I think I know why. This is just assumption. Let me read it again. However, the victim's ring and pinky fingers on her left hand had been amputated and were not found in the Tesla. Y'all, they couldn't even identify her. Due to the badly decomposed condition of the body, they had to use dental records. And guess what? Her mama them, listen to this. The mama, instead of calling the damn police, called TMZ. You need your ass whooped, ma'am. You called TMZ to say, I think that's my daughter. TMZ notified the Los Angeles Police Department. We think that's Celeste. Ma'am, I'm going to have a talk with you when I come up there. I'm just kidding. I'm going to mind my manners. The mama called TMZ. Think I'm lying? Go do your research. Didn't call the police because you knew you was wrong for allowing him to have access to her, but you're going to call TMZ. And as a result, the TMZ, that's how they knew to pull Celeste's dental records. I'm just giving you a little bit of background. I've been on this case for a minute. That's how the LA Police Department said, oh, we should pull her. The parents called me. When they saw the Tesla, they knew it was probably their daughter. Girl, go get you a drink. Pac-Man said, I need a drink so I can leave all my troubles behind. Pour me a drink. Hold on. I told you I got y'all covered.
Baby, what's in there wine? I feel sexy as fuck. I see why y'all like wine.
Listen, you may need a drink on this one. Now, let's get back to the pinky finger. The ring finger, we know why it was missing because allegedly the victim had his name tattooed on the ring finger, the left hand. And typically in Western culture, that's where you place the ring finger on the left hand, but in European countries and other countries, they do the right hand. Now, this is what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but this thought just popped into my head. I said, why would he cut off her pinky finger? I'm going to assume because they pinky swore at age 11 to be together forever and to always keep the secret. Remember, he killed her because she had threatened to out him and expose him for being a predator. So she broke her pinky promise. That's what I'm coming up with, which is the probably symbolic of cutting off the pinky finger on the left hand. We pinky promised, and you broke your promise to me. Do you follow? You pinky promise with kids. Remember, she was a kid. And thank you, Jan. Thank you, Low Tempo Life. You said I had the same thought. Yeah, he got a little girl to pinky promise. And then I have a video of him saying, I was once in love with a girl. They said, well, how can love change? He said it can, and it does change. It does change. It can change like that. And this girl said that she would love me forever. And she had to go because she tried to ruin my career. And many believe that he was referring to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So what comes to my brain is the pinky promise. So the pinky ring, the pinky finger, and the ring finger, which were both symbolic of you broke the covenant that we had. Let's continue. On September 16th, 2025, 8 days after they found the body, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department positively identified the body from dental records as belonging to the victim. So it took them 8 days to positively identify her. Pursuant to their investigation, LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined that the victim and the defendant met sometime around January 2022 when she was 11 years old. Okay. Why do they say that? That's probably the first communication that they're able to extract from the phone or some type of digital footprint that they could find when she was 11. They began a sexual relationship in November of 2023 when the victim, hold on. Wait a minute. If she was 11, she had turned 12. This is not right though. Listen to this. I could be wrong. Help me with the math. They're saying that he met her in January of 2022, right? Oh, I see. She turned 12 in 2022. And then she turned 13. Okay. They began a sexual relationship in November 2023 when the victim was just 13 years old and the defendant was 18. The detectives learned the victim had been reported missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family who lived in Lake Elsinore in February and April. So they allowed a relationship to develop from 11 years old. They never contacted law enforcement about this young man, taking their daughter out. Now remember, the sexual relationship began, according to the DA, at 13. We don't know how long the mom and the dad allowed her to leave the house with him. It could have been as early as 13. Let's continue. Detective, so she was reported missing. Hold on. So the county sheriffs contacted David by phone on February 17th. So the family knew where she was. Now, Queen Sheba, why would the family allow the girl to have a relationship with him and then one day report her missing? Inconsistent parenting, The same way you let them go to the mall one day, and if they piss you off, the next day you're not going to the mall. I'm going to David's house. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. If you freaking walk out that door, I'm leaving. Okay. You want to be cute? Now you don't want to listen? I'm going to call 911. And they reported her missing. That's exactly that's what I believe happened. And she walked out the door because Celeste was smart. She knew what they were doing was against the law, and she knew what David was doing was against the law. And she had them both by the balls, both her parents and David. That's why Celeste walked out of that house against their will, because you let me see him. And now that you're mad at me, now you want to play mommy. You've been letting me hang out with him all this time. Now you want to be a mom. Why you say, oh, queen, stop? I'm telling the truth. If you let a man access your daughter, I'm not going to stop. Since age 11. Now all of a sudden, she talking back and getting smart and then got beside herself. Now you want to exercise parental leadership. Guess what? She said, hell no, I'm leaving. And she know you can't do anything about it. So it become a power struggle. She left. And they called the police on her these two times. They called the police on her. That's how you got the missing persons report. Because at this point, she had become defiant, unruly. Now nobody can control her because both sides are breaking the rules. You get what I'm saying? So the police in Riverside County said, hey, David, on February 17th, they said they kept her phone. They identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. During the call, defendant claimed that he had spoken to the victim last on February 13th or 14th. But he stated he was unaware she was a minor and that she had been reported missing. So he was lying. I think that was the first time she ran away on Valentine's Day to go be with David. So they called him and David said, mm-mm. So the family didn't report her missing until 3 days later. Watch this. In February and April. Why would you wait 4 days? If your daughter left on the 14th or the 13th, why would you call the police on the 17th? So David lied. Oh, no, I don't know nothing about that. Yeah, I talked to her, but I didn't know she was a minor. So the Riverside County Sheriff said, you know what? Well, we're gonna dispatch the Los Angeles Sheriff's Office, and they're going to come out to your house. So during that time, according to the court records, David was living at 804 North Doheny Place in West Hollywood. The Riverside County Sheriffs did their part. They contacted the Los Angeles Police Department. They say, hey, we need you to go out there and check on a kid. We need you to do a welfare check. They went to David's house that night at 8:15 p.m. and informed him, I don't know what you got going on, but if that little girl's here, she's a 13-year-old runaway. And he said, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't even know she was a minor. I met her one time, sir, in November of 2023. So then the defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. So what happened? He kept her. So let's see, we got the 14th, 15, 16, 17, 18. He kept her for 5 days. Why would he send her back after 5 days? I don't know. Maybe he was going on tour. All you have to do is look it up. What was David doing February 2024, February 19th. See if he had any public events. Sent her home. Because now I can't let you be seen with me because I said I didn't know you were a minor and the police then came to my house. Right? A yearbook photo of the victim he had. Why would he be showing a yearbook photo? Wouldn't the police have said, wait a minute, how did you get a yearbook photo of her? Then you should know she's a minor. I don't know. This is LAPD. Did you drop the ball on that day you went out? Because if LA, think about it, I'm thinking out loud now. If Los Angeles Police Department was called by Riverside County to go out to do a welfare check to David's house, he's saying, I don't know. My dog's barking. I think he agrees with me. Hey, hold on, y'all. If you go out and this 18-year-old man shows you a photo of a 12 or 13-year-old girl in middle school, wouldn't you say you do know she's a minor? So he showed the police a photo of Celeste on his phone. But at the same time, he's saying, here's a photo of her, but I don't know she's 12 or 13. So despite being informed by law enforcement that she was 13, he continued to pursue her. And what they're saying is, even if you didn't know it, right? In 2023, you knew it the day the sheriff came to your house. That's what the DA is saying. After the victim returned home in February of 2024, her parents took her cell phone away. David drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone defendant purchased so that they can stay in contact. Damn. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with the defendant, including summer weekends at his house in Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. Stop. I told you the mom ain't shit. You hosted that little girl in your house. He brought her home, and you knew that was a child, ma'am. Now, to Celeste's parents, I hold you accountable too. Because how are you allowing a man to take your daughter internationally? She would have to have had passports approved by you. You let her go because of the lights. You blinded by the action. It's Hollywood. Damn. You knew your boy was sick. Text exchanges between the victim and the defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B emergency contraceptives. There are also explicit photos documenting and corroborating, their sexual relationship. Wow. In November of 2024, defendant and the victim broke up, although they continued to communicate, and text messages suggest that they also continued to have sexual relations. All right, so we're in November now. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 9 months later, they break up, but he's continuing to have access to her. Okay, so then we get to April, the suspected time frame of the death. And that's where the prosecutors are saying that's likely the date of the victim's death and when all of her cellular activity ceased. Good job. Good job to the prosecution team. The prior night, on that April 22nd, the defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described, didn't I say it, in their detailed text messages. Wait a minute, where are you going with this? Before these court documents were released, we didn't know what modality of communication that Celeste used to say or how they were fighting. I said, I think because of her age and because of the text messages I've seen, I think she used text. So now we have it confirmed, and that's why they know what she said to him. They were texting. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over the defendant's relationships with other women, as the defendant led her to believe they had a future together. Of course he did. He's a predator. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Defendant's first studio album was due to be released on April 25th. Now, it was both a calculated, how do I say this? There was calculations on both ends, but Celeste had no idea she was playing with danger. Celeste was too big for her britches. Celeste, that's what the old folks say in the South. Because of her parents' lack of parental guidance, Celeste was a little bit more mature for her age than she should have been. Are y'all following me? And sometimes when they are exposed to adult things, they don't understand the consequences of dealing with monsters, the consequences of dealing with people in the real world. Hence the phrase, stay in a child's place. Because some people will forget that you are a child. So she's just thinking, she's talking shit. Maybe she meant it. But he took her serious. So she's saying, listen, you're not going to play with me. Because right before this album release party, I will expose you. You led me on to believe that I was important to you. You did things to me as a child, and I'm going to tell the world. She was upset. And she said, I'm going to tell. Right before his first album was due to be released. We're not talking individual singles, album. This was a big deal for him. 3 days before his big date, he had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He had multiple product endorsements. They were highly profitable, some with Fortnite, which they're now being refunded, right? The cosmetics. So what he did is 8:40 p.m. That's 11:40 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:40 p.m. Central Standard Time, late at night. He sent an Uber to transport her from her Lake Elsinore home to his house. So she left her parents' house again, 13 years old, at 8:40 at night. Walked right out the door. They communicated before and during her Uber ride. It was a long Uber ride. Well over an hour. About an hour, almost an hour and a half. Right at an hour, about an hour. 8:40, 9:40. That's an hour. 10, almost an hour and a half. So the Uber drops her off at 10:10 p.m. Y'all, he killed her fast. He attacked her right when she walked in that door. Because according to the court document, at approximately 10:30 p.m., he starts sending text messages to her phone saying, where you at? Where you at? You coming? So the people, the state, contend that this was a part of his premeditated plan, his alibi to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time. This boy pounced on her. So the Uber driver will be able to corroborate that, yes, she got out of this car alive. The Uber driver is going to say that I dropped her off. The ride ended here. He can't lie about that in court. And as soon as she walked in the house, she was dead. 20 minutes later, he could have aborted mission. He could have said, you know what? Let me make this right. This is wrong. I can't be with you. I'm sorry. Let me pay your parents off. Let me set you up for life. Let me enter into a binding contract. He didn't do that. 10:10, 10:30, It's lights off. He attacked her as soon as she came through that door. I can only imagine his demeanor when she walked in. Did he wait 5 minutes? Did he wait 3 minutes? Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career as she had threatened. Very soon after her arrival at his house, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. He watched her. He watched her crawl. He watched her fight. He watched her. And at no time did he call 911. No time did he attempt to take her to emergency room or attempt to save her life. From start to finish, 20 minutes. From the attack to bleeding completely out, 20 minutes. Despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show that the defendant lied and claimed he did not know where she was. In fact, the defendant drove to Santa Barbara. We covered that. Immediately after she died, attempting to dispose of her property. That's where he went out, way out on top of that hill, and he tried to destroy evidence. At approximately 11:30, an hour and a half later, on April 23rd, 2025, he drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone. "You a low-down dirty dog. You sent an Uber at 8:40, knowing damn well that Uber has documented that they dropped her off at your house. You start texting her. Where you at? Where you at? 10:30. And then you calling and texting. Tell me, where you at? Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a very short timeline after the victim's vicious murder. Defendant drove his Tesla north on the 101 freeway to San Marcos Pass Road, SR 154, near Lake Chachuma in Santa Barbara County. He returned home early the following morning, April 24, 2025, before going to a radio interview for the release of his album that week. He sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. After April 26, 2025, the defendant never attempted to contact her again. Oh, sweet David. What did I say? He can't fake the funk for too long. Whether it's year to year, he couldn't do it no more, y'all. After 3 days. He couldn't even pretend to care after 3 days. Never called her family. Hey, have you seen Celeste? None of that. Let's continue. Unless he did. Tellingly, defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. On April 24, 2025, defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered to his house from Postmates. On May 1st, 7 days later, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home, 2 of them. On May 5th, 2025, defendant ordered and Amazon subsequently delivered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his house. I think we should have things put in play. Guidelines. Because, you know, when you go to a bank, you're flagged if you deposit cash over a particular amount. Pharmacies flag you if you come in too often for prescription refills as it relates to narcotics, right? I think Amazon and these delivery places, body bags that are not being delivered to healthcare places, it just should just go up into a cloud. Because this is getting out of control. He made 3 purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. Look up Victoria Mendez, somebody. That could be a real person that's no longer with us. That could be a victim. When it comes to him, I don't think it's a fake name. Who in the hell is Victoria Mendez? Because he seems to have an appetite for young Latin girls. Who is Victoria Mendez? Do we have a missing persons report on a Victoria Mendez in the Houston, Texas area? In any areas that he toured? and Santa Barbara, Hollywood Hills, Victoria Mendez. Let me tell you something. There's no coincidences with people like this. On May 8th, he returned to the same area in Santa Barbara, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again on May 31st. This is an isolated site off SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January of 2026. What they find up there? What they find up there? They left that out. Oh, an ID. They went up to where he was. They found her ID. Additionally, on July 7, 2025, the defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage. So now we're talking April, May, June, July. 3 months. He's sitting with this body. Right? So he has a burn cage delivered to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Victoria Mendez. Moreover, the defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor, defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. That means he would have to have on some type of protective equipment to cover his face. You know, those hazmat suits. Is there any evidence? I'm guessing if it were, they would have. What did he cover himself up with? Defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded into the victim's remains. That means he cut her while he was in that pool, which were collected by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's Forensic Science Division Trace Analysis Unit. An expert was able to make a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by the defendant in May. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring finger and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his face. Her fingers have not been recovered, and I don't think they will be. Defendant then placed her head and torso in a cadaver bag he purchased. He placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited into his front trunk. Laying the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks or possibly months, defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. Watch this. Let me plug in my computer. He lied, they're saying, to friends, business associates, and others who noticed a strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. Before leaving on his concert tour at the end of July, he parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. I need to pause here. I think this was a one-man show. I do. I think this was a one-man show. However, I think people were privy to the inappropriate relationship with the minor. I think people were privy that he had sexual conduct with the minor. Dana says psychologically, cutting up a body is not just about trying to dispose it. There's a lot of hate and rage to do this to a person. He was in a demonic state of mind. He's been in a demonic state of mind. If we go back and track his history, he told her in a text message, "I'm going to eat you." The parents did report her missing in February and April of 2024. However, that's it. They didn't go. They didn't. I don't believe they stayed on it. So in July of 2025, when the remains, no, I'm sorry, that was September of 2025, when that car was impounded and towed to that impound lot and there was the news of a body being found in David's car, the parents called TMZ to say, that's our daughter. They didn't call law enforcement. They called TMZ. TMZ then notified law enforcement. Hey, I think I may have a hit on who that is. I'm talking to the parents. Now, he lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed a strong smell of decay. He said it was his bathroom. I know that for a fact because I watched him on a live after the fact of the murder when videos start to kind of emerge of him. And he says, hey guys, don't pay attention to the stench in my bathroom, something about the sewer. So Los Angeles Police Department served a search warrant. They served a search warrant at the defendant's home at the Doheny place on September 17th after the victim was identified by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner. Now that's when the homeowner who was leasing out the house to the record label found out, wait a minute, you mean to tell me a crime has been committed in my property? Yes. And not only that, who in the hell is David? That's not who is on my lease agreement. The person that signed this for Interscope Records is Josh Marshall. Whoa. Inside the garage, detectives discovered evidence consistent with the dismemberment of the victim's body in the inflatable pool, which contained multiple linear cuts. This mofo kept the pool. He kept the pool. Arrogance. Kept the pool in the garage. And wait a minute, the police is like, wait a minute. It has slits and cuts. Several biological samples, which tested positive for blood, were collected within the garage area. DNA analysis determined that the various samples matched the victim's unique genetic profile. On December 9, 2025, the medical examiner ruled the victim's death a homicide caused by 2 penetrating injuries to the torso. Listen, this was a horrifying experience for her. Why do you say that? If you look at the detailed court document, he stabbed her to death, multiple stab wounds, but there was only 2 fatal blows. She was in pain. She was in agony. Once he started, he didn't stop. So all of those horrendous cuts didn't do the job. It took 2 death blows, in addition to all of the other damage that he did. That's how severe this is. That's a good point right here. The luxury bucket list says serial deleters secretly want credit for their work. I don't think this was his first victim. They better be looking up Victoria Mendez. He didn't use a man. He used a woman. Now, how you know you can use Victoria Mendez unless you know she's never coming back? On January 17th, the victim's U.S. passport card was found by a Caltrans worker off of SR 154 in Santa Barbara. Evidence. The people will present the following evidence at the preliminary hearing, including but not limited to the description of the photos depicting the victim naked. Wow. As well as while she was engaged. Wow. With the defendant in sexual activity when she was 13. As this evidence constitutes child sexual abuse material. The photographs themselves will not be presented. While all possible charges that could be proven were not filed, they're saving some for later, just in case. They got to see how this case goes. They can't put it all on the table. Even though we could slam the book at them, we're going to save some, just in case. The CSAM is proof of their ongoing sexual relationship while the victim was 13 and 14 years old. Numerous text messages between the defendant and the victim evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B contraception. Messages through March 2025 proved defendant continued to manipulate the victim as she messaged, all we do is have sex and I just hang out. Man, I want more than that for myself. Listen. All we do is have sex. You know what it reminds me of? Cassie and Diddy. which was consensual. And Cassie testified under oath at one point, she enjoyed it. But after a while, she said, all we do is this. He never loved her. She was something to do. And that's why I'm hard on women. Why are you always talking about us? Because you can save yourself. You can save your daughters. You can break this thing down like I'm doing it. If you got Cassie as a grown woman texting the likes of Diddy, all we do is have sex. And then we look at a child saying, all we do is have sex. There's a pattern here with men, some men. I ain't worried about them. I'm worried about us. You get what I'm saying? So if we start talking to each other and keeping each other straight, then we can keep each other safe. Because they going to do what they going to do, the ones that do it. I'm not talking about all men. But I just thought it was interesting to point out the commonalities between a grown woman who said, all right, enough is enough. And then if you don't want to use Cassie as an example, we can shift or transition to Jane Doe. After a while, she said, damn, all we do is have sex. So why do Queen Sheba stay on the head of the women? Because you can set boundaries. And if she had a decent relationship with a mother, even if she was going to do what she wanted to do, or had a decent relationship with her father, she could have said, all we do is have sex. And then somebody could have hopefully stepped in and said, hell no, he means you no good. Hell, you got grown women that be having these problems, and not because we're bad people or you're a bad person. You know what it is. Poor baby said, all we do is have sex and just hang out. I want more than that for myself. This baby at a young age saying, you ain't even taking me to get a hamburger. You're not even taking me to get ice cream or candy or cookies you're not even, we don't even go to the mall. Think about things that teenage girls should be doing with teenage boys, going to the mall. We'll drop them off at the game, football games, none of that. That's why they say continuous access to sexually abuse her. All we do is have sex and just hang out. I want more than that for myself. They got these messages from her iCloud data. So the defendant's cellular activity and communications derived from the defendant's iPhone and Tesla, which demonstrate defendant's activity from April 22, 2025 to April 24, 2025, including a trip to Santa Barbara. So y'all were saying a Tesla should be able to tell when he did what? In the middle of the night after the victim arrived at his Hollywood Hills home. That boy didn't sleep for days and then went to that premiere party for that album release. Didn't sleep for days. Stayed up 72 hours. Surveillance video of the defendant driving his Tesla on July 29, 2025 for the last time before parking the vehicle and leaving on tour at the end of July. Now, what did he think was going to happen? Well, we need to find out. I just had another thought. I think it's a level of arrogance where he thought he could outsmart the system, or what just occurred to me, he was trying to pin, or he was hoping to pin the murder on somebody else. Who stayed behind from his team? Who didn't go on tour? We got to figure that part out, y'all. DNA evidence developed from bloodstains collected from defendant's garage, which matched the victim's genetic profile. Proof of Amazon purchases and deliveries to his residence, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, an inflatable pool, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a burn cage after April 24th, 2025. Proof of defendant's purchase, that delivery from Postmates of a shuffle from Home Depot to his home on April 24th. So he ran out of time. Okay, he had the album release party, April 25. I think the private investigator put a timeline on Twitter. He was going to bury the body initially if he had a shovel. That shows intent. But somewhere between April and July, April, May, June, July, he ran out of time. Proof of defendant's purchase, we got that, the shovel. Uber records showing defendant's transaction where he ordered an Uber to pick up the victim from her Lake Elsinore home and transport her to his residence the night of April 23rd. Okay, let's take that back. So her parents reported her missing April 24th. The next day. If you go to the missing report, they said the last time she saw was leaving the home, walking out of the front door. Let's pull it up. Do y'all remember that? Let me go back. I remember that. Let me see if I can find it. We're putting it together. Hold on. We got it. Give me 1 second. I just want to pull it up for reference and receipts. I think it's important for you to be able to see a visual of what I'm talking about. Hold on. Here we go. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Got it. Let me know when you can see it. All right. What? Wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Something ain't right. Oh, my God. The parents said they lost. Hold on. Somebody's lying. Oh, my God. Look at this. Let me blow it up. The parents lied. Why? They said the last time they saw her was brother. 5th. Hold on. They were well aware. Hold on. Let me hit pause. Do y'all see this right here? Last seen April 5th. But the DA says, he sent an Uber April 23rd. Why would the parents manipulate the date on the missing persons report? Lord, wait, y'all, look what we just discovered in real time. No, it doesn't matter. She was home. They're lying. April. I'm confused. I'm confused. Your daughter was at how? Wait a minute. I'm going to leave it alone. This is way deeper than what I thought. I didn't even notice that the date that they're saying she left. I'm tired too, Grace. Me too. I didn't even think, look. I thought I was about to pull this up because I hadn't looked at it in a while. I just knew it was going to say April 25th, April 23rd. They're saying April 5th. You say, slow it down. All right, let me show you right here. Let me go back. We're going to jump between screens. Can we do that? Right here. Share this tab. Can you see? Hold on. We got to look at the Uber receipts. Hold on. Uber records right here. Look at me. Hold on. Let me draw it. Let's get a red. Uber records showing defendant's transaction where he ordered an Uber to pick her up from her home and transport her to his house on the 23rd. Mom and Dad, she could not have been missing on the 5th when she left on the 23rd. Mom, Dad, why would you misrepresent the date? Y'all can't see? Oh, Lord. Hold on. Oh, Lord. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Oh, my God. Oh, here we go. I wasn't cheering. That's why you can't see nothing. Right here. Can you see it? Right here. Girl, you are not realizing it says 2020. Oh, girl. Girl. it, it said 2024. Hold on, girl. Let me pull it back up. Hold on, Melissa. Melissa, don't tell me that, Melissa. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Melissa, okay, let me go back. Melissa said, hold on, girl. It said the 24th. Hold on. Let's go back. Hold on, Melissa. Okay, you sure right. Okay, we can move on. Melissa, thank you. I was about to say. No, but that's still wrong though. I get what you're saying. But if your daughter, okay, missing persons report, last seen. We don't know when it was filed. They say they last saw her in April of 2024. That's when they reported that they had last seen her. Are y'all following me? Or are you saying, Melissa, that you think that the parents filed this report in 2024? Can y'all see it or no? Hold on. I might have to come back to it. She ran away in February. So the deed, let me pull back up the court record now. Y'all got to keep me honest. We know they broke up in 2024. Give me 1 second. I got to get this one off the screen so we can see, so y'all can see everything. Hold on. I need to know, when was this missing persons report filed? Right? Are y'all thinking? Keep me honest. Are y'all thinking it was filed in 2024? Or are you thinking that it was filed in 2025 and the parents said we haven't seen her in a year? They never did an updated one. Okay. So you think it was filed in 2024? She was missing twice, in February and April, according to the DA. MIA 2024, but she lost her life in 2025. I got you. This is what I thought. Let me tell you what I thought. This is where I went wrong. I thought that the parents, the last time that David sent her that Uber, the night of the 23rd, watch this, of 2025, that her parents was like, where are you going? I'm confused. That her parents were like, where are you going? I'm going to David's. No, you're not. Yes, I am. She walks out the house only to never be seen again. So I was under the impression that the family had reported her right then and there. But listen, it's still bad if they didn't. Because if the last time you reported your daughter missing in the 2024, watch this, and he killed her in 2025 of April, and her body was found in July, April, May, June, July. No, September. May, June, July, August, 5 months later. How come you didn't report her missing the final time? Or maybe they're just tired. This is, I don't get it. They never renewed it. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. The Real Empress said they never Hold on. They're going to have to put them on a stand. They never notified. Oh, thank you. They never notified the police when she returned home. Okay, I got you. Okay. All right. But even then, okay, so we got that cleared up. She comes back home. We know she's home in 25. But the last time she walked out that door, it seems like the parents had given up. This is so tragic. Thank you, Love. Love 83 said it's always dangerous for a runaway teen girl. This is so tragic. Yeah, she went missing twice, according to the DA. Yes, she did. So the last report was never updated. Okay, got it. I was thinking that the last time she ran out, they reported her. But shoot, they didn't even bother to report her the last time. Oh, this is so unfortunate. This was so unfortunate. I'm not sure. And how did she get a passport? I'm going to tell you this. I've been following this case very closely. And according to the private investigator, he said he's not going to say anything yet. But there is a strong alleged indication that the parents may have been paid off. He said he's going to wait for it all to come out in court. So I follow him too. Based on his independent investigation, he believes, or strongly indicates, almost said, yeah, that the parents were being paid money. Money was being exchanged. Now, maybe that could be a reason why there wasn't a lot of focus on the leaving that time. And they didn't file a report because they thought she would be safe with David, because now we have money that has entered the chat. So between April 22nd, right here, and April 23rd, here we go. According to court documents, Celeste had threatened to expose David and destroy his career. I have him talking about that. Let me see if I can find that video. Give me 1 second. And he said she's no longer here. No, he said she had to go. Here we go. Let's take a look. He said, I had a girl that said, constantly told me she loved me. Share this. Let me know when you can see it. All right. All right, here we go.
I used to get up and get dressed for school in the morning. I put on this cool fit. She would like, take that off, put on a suit or something like that. You know, I knew it was cool if she hated it. I played it for her in the car, and she was like, David, this song is too violent. You're talking about killing people in your music? No, not my son. And I was like, wait, I might be onto something, bro. So I dropped it right after that. And it went crazy. TikTok, viral, 1 million views overnight. I was like, oh yeah, we cooking, boy. We cooking, boy. So right at that moment, I was like, my mom has done it again. Because if she said, oh, because I was already skeptical about the song when I made it. Like, I was like, okay, maybe it's just too dark. I don't know what I'm doing. I held on to it for a minute until I decided to play it for my mom, and she hated it. And that was my cue. That was the you go do it.
So after that, it was just like, it was history, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I used to get up and get
What is it
just
called?
for school.
Defiance. He loved his mom, but he resented her at the same time. So he just said he did crap to get under his skin. Yo, you don't want me to kill nobody? Let me immediately do it. Here we go.
Conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like, people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. I really wanted the listeners to feel like they're reading a book almost, and they get into a different chapter with every song, but there's also that kind of pause where they can take every song in by itself and then have this kind of visual landscape in this interlude to kind of be in my head, in my mindset, and why I wrote the project like this and how everything went, just to like keep them even more interested and connected throughout the project for sure.
At the end of the interlude, correct me if I'm wrong here, she says, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't respond. She says, I love you again. It repeats itself and you don't respond. Was that done purposely?
Absolutely. Because the next song after that is This Really Love?
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like a lead into that kind of a transition type thing, you know?
I believe the last time you were here, didn't you say you never experienced love or hadn't been in love? You didn't believe
Yeah, I wasn't in a relationship then. Nah. That's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like,
Can somebody tell me when he did this interview? If we can figure out when he did this interview, it's going to showcase one or two things. I have it. Do you remember when the brother's text message got leaked? He said something like he was going to a movie with David. I have it. Okay, Melissa, go to the psychological profile of David that I did 7 months ago. It's on that video. I think I posted it on that video. And then I had stopped posting about it because he and his team were coming after me. So I want that kind of smoke. So I stopped talking about David because it scared the bejesus out of me. But it's on the psychological. I say something about David's attracted to young girls, the psychological profile or something like that. It's in that video where the brother's text message is there. All right. So this is what I need from y'all. If we can figure out when this podcast was done with these two guys, we can establish if Celeste was already dead, this man operates great under pressure. It's going to be very interesting to see him in a courthouse. If he can sit there and talk like this, knowing what he did and the gravity of what he did and speak like this, y'all got to send me to this trial. Y'all got to put me in the courtroom so that I can cover it live from the courthouse. You said if he purchased the burn cage but did not use it on Celeste, did he use it on someone else? No, it was still in the box. Remember I said somehow now that we're getting all of the dates and an established timeline, it was still in the box, but it was a high level burn incinerator because they range in prices based on the degrees and the temperatures that they can reach. And I think I covered that in one video. But he got the best of the best, but it was still in the box. If there are more victims, they're going to discover that with the DNA profile once they put it in the database. Here's the problem. Is it a national database that they submitted to? It'll be interesting if a victim comes back as Victoria Mendez, because that's the fake name he used on the Amazon account. He didn't use Mr. William Bunnett or Billy Brown or a man. He used Victoria Mendez, which is very interesting because it points to his preference still subconsciously. So while he felt like he was evading and creating and erasing his trace, is still established as it relates to his preference of women, his preference of girls, young Latin girls. I got that. Okay, we got that one. Let's see if there's any more we missed. Thank you. We got that. Oh, thank you. Charmaine, RN. Thank you. Register nurse. She says, this is my first time here. I just subscribed. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for your support of the channel. Let's do this. Is there any more? And let me see if anybody has the date of when he did this podcast. Remember, you did it. You heard it here first. Hold on. Hold on. I need to find, what else did y'all ask me for? I think we're just about done. We can go ahead and wrap up. April, you are lying. You are lying. Are you kidding me? Y'all, this video was uploaded the 28th of April, 5 days after Celeste's death. I wouldn't be shocked if he did the video to establish an alibi. I mean, not the video, the interview. Wow. 5 days after her death. Thank you, Desira. She says, yes, if you are new here, I encourage you to go back months ago and see the way Queen cracked this case, if it's still up. One of them was so good. One of my best ones they took. That's where I showed y'all everything. You said, I felt in my bones she was gone when he did this interview. He's speaking of her in past tense. Yes, he said she's no longer. Let's play it again. I don't want to misquote him. Let's play it one more time. He said she tried to ruin my career. It's in sync with the evidence that the prosecution has presented. Her text messages say, I'm going to ruin your career. I'm going to tell everybody about you.
That's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. I really wanted the listeners to feel like they're reading a book almost, and they get into a different chapter with every song, but there's also that kind of pause where they can take every song in by itself and then have this kind of visual landscape in this interlude to kind of be in my head, in my mindset, and why I wrote the project like this and how everything went, just to like keep them even more interested and connected throughout the project for sure.
At the end of the interlude, correct me if I'm wrong here, she says, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't respond. She says, I love you again. It repeats itself and you don't respond. Was that done purposely?
Absolutely. Because the next song after that is This Really Love?
Watch this. Oh, I have a question. He plays out his fantasies in his songs. Those text messages that the prosecution submitted didn't say anything about love. Watch this. Could it be she was saying that while she was being attacked, and that's why he didn't respond? Could it be? Kids. You said who were going to his concerts? Kids. Yeah, and then he said it can be severed. He said it can be. People think that love cannot be severed. It can be cut, it can be severed. But the guy said, wait a minute, because at the end of the interlude, you said she says, I love you. She says it 3 times. And you don't respond to her pleas of I love you. No, I don't. Because what's going through my head is, can this be love? If you're going to ruin my career. I wonder if she was saying anything to get him up off of her. I love you, David. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because after all, she did come over there at 8:40 at night. She did defy her parents the last time because of love, or what she thought was love. So what he's regurgitating is the last moments of her life in that house when he lured her there and stabbed her multiple times. That is crazy. Thank you, Samantha LV. Samantha says, Queen, I think that's the interview that was mentioned in the court documents that he went to after he unalived her. Yes. To set up an alibi. Yes. And just talked about what he did. And so when he's talking, y'all think he's talking about he put her final words as an interlude at the end of the song. And the guy said, but you never responded. He says, because it's a prelude. What is it? A precursor to the next song. Well, what the hell is the next song?
So
Uh-huh.
it's kind of like a lead into that kind of a transition type thing, you know?
I believe the last time you were here, didn't you say you never experienced love or hadn't been in love? You didn't.
Yeah, and I wasn't in a relationship then. Nah, that's a real conversation that happened.
Did he say what was the next song or say, I love you, I love you? I'm going to try one more time to get it. Let's see. Y'all, this is wild. This is beyond me.
And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. I really wanted the listeners to feel like they're reading a book almost, and they get into a different chapter with every song, but there's also that kind of pause where they can take every song in by itself and then have this kind of visual landscape in this interlude to kind of be in my head, in my mindset, and why I wrote the project like this and how everything went, just to like keep them even more interested and connected throughout the project for sure.
At the end of the interlude, correct me if I'm wrong here, she says, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't respond. She says, I love you again. It repeats itself and you don't respond. Was that done purposely?
Absolutely. Because the next song after that is This Really Love?
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like a lead into that kind of a transition type thing, you know?
All right. That's it. Wow. And I didn't even cover everything. It's a lot. But I'm laying the foundation for what's to come next. And if you would like to see me cover this trial in person and get there, it's nothing like being in a courthouse. Because I did the same for the Diddy trial. It is nothing like being in a courthouse. I get to see body language. I get to see responses. All of that, and report that live to you. Please feel free to send donations. Now, they moved it. I was supposed to fly out today, and I was able to change my flight and kick back the hotel. But of course, that came with a penalty, right? Because you just, when you think something's happening and the court says no, unfortunately, that's beyond our control. But listen, if we can be there, we're going to be there. So thank you to everybody that's been generous and kind enough. I got to see this guy. He did not. Brownie says he did not care about her. Not at all. Do you understand me? Not one bit. Now, you said, I noticed David's nails. Let me see. Are painted. Wow. Black. Now, let me see. I want to go to the conclusion of the complaint that the state versus David. It says the brief is filled to assist the court in understanding the scope and relevance of evidence the prosecution intends to present at the preliminary hearing. Yeah, I got to be there. We don't even know. The preliminary hearing is what we're trying to get to in a couple of weeks. That's when they're going to provide all of the evidence. I'll be able to tell you what was in that phone. What was in her phone? What was in his phone? What did they wiretap? Did somebody else wear a wire? We got to know everything. And we're going to piece it together and tie it back to his lyrics, his confessions, and everything that he's saying that's hidden right in front of us. Thank you, Shakita. Thank you. Thank you so much for your Cash App. Yes. Now all I got to figure out is what to wear. You said his attorney is going to quit. You think so? It's a lot. They may have to. So he did multiple podcasts. You said this was done August, April, May, June, July, August. So this one was done was it this one or the other one? T-Love. Either way, he spoke it, right? To say this girl's not here. Wow. You said, look at your comment up top. I'll try real quick if I can find it. I don't see it. Let me see. Oh, I'm looking at old comments. My bad. My bad. I'm looking at old the one in the pink. Okay. Let me see. Hold on. I think that's all I got for today. I wanted to share something else with y'all. I wanted to share this boy getting on after he committed this murder. Let me see if I can find it. And doing a damn Bible study. If I can find it. Let's see if I have it. Give me 1 second. I have it. I just don't know if I have it on this platform. I saved it. He conducted a Bible study about his sins. Hold on. I think let me see if I have it. Hold on. If I can't find it, I'll just let it go. I can find it. I don't want to hold y'all too much longer. Let me try one more time to see if I can find it. If not, I'll let it go. Yeah. So he was talking. He had gotten on a stream and he started to do a Bible study about turning away from his sinful nature and that he couldn't. Because, here's the brother. This is what the brother said. Let me show y'all this. Hold on. Now we got to watch the brother too. This is David's brother. Let me show you his brother. Give me 1 second. All right. Can y'all see the screen? I don't think the brother likes him much. Let me hit stop and then I got to reshare. It's not showing you. So it seems like there may be some discord in the family amongst the siblings or the boys. Can we see now? Huh. It's not showing my screen. Okay, there we go. I was about to say, this is the brother. David's brother, allegedly, shares message amid the singer's recent arrest. He says, all pedophiles and rapists should die, period. Is that his brother? Yeah, Caleb Burke. Took to IG his story and that they should. Now, ma'am, you might have two little predators in your house because that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not what David is. It could be jealousy. It could be envy. Ma'am, what kind of... Let me put an overlay here. I'm going to go to the brother's profile. Give me 1 second. Oh, the brother may be gone. Oh, here you go. David's brother calls him out. So that's all I got for him. They're both dark. So I don't think I want to prioritize one over the other. Because he's fixated on death too. So I don't know if that's good or bad. He may be jealous that David is getting all the attention. Thank you, Tamara. But I know that they're producing some weirdos in that home. Ma'am, your kids, I don't know what's going on. Let me show you. Y'all, the eyes never lie. And they actually look alike. If you take all of this extra off of David and reestablish his basic look, the boys look just alike. David puts in contacts to make his eyes appear lighter. He colors his hair to differentiate. But this is his brother, Caleb Burke. He took to his IG story. Let me see if I can find this boy. Give me 1 second. See? I got him. I got him. Well, here we go. Y'all ready? He only has one thing on his Instagram. That cannot be him. I don't know if this is his brother. Let me just say allegedly. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in court. That's it. That's all.